No, this week's movie, In the Gray, isn't a tale of Liam Neeson's adventures inside the wolf who surely ate him at the end of the 2011 movie, The Gray. Nope, instead, In the Gray shows what it would look like if Superman teamed up with Donnie Darko as protective badasses to future Wonder Woman Eiza Gonzalez as she tries to make a drug boss pay back alone. And you thought those collection agency letters that you get in the mail were aggressive. Is In the Gray worth watching at the theater? Well, find out in this episode of Movies Merica Live.
In a world where the number of movies available is great, but many are so bad, you'll learn a new definition of hate. One man sifts and reviews through the movie sludge. One man will be the movie cop, jury, and judge. He goes by many names, but you know him by Movies Merica.
All right, everyone, welcome to this latest episode of Movies Merica Live on this Sunday afternoon. And yes, it is still technically the weekend, and so it's time to kick back, relax, put your feet up here, because that's what your orders are for Movies Merica Live. Orders, in a fun, casual sense right there. But as always, I'm your host, Van Ebert, aka Movies Merica, and I am going to present with you, or to you, a spoiler-free review of the new Guy Ritchie movie, In the Gray. So, can he get it right this time? I mean, his last few movies have been pretty big flops there. So, I mean, is In the Gray, is this the one where, he hits the pay dirt, he gets a fortune, so to speak, right there? Or is this going to be just another flop for poor old Guy Ritchie right there? So, man, it's been a long time since, Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch and all those movies right there back in the 90s and 2000 right there. But he's here, yeah, with a brand new Henry Cavill, Jake Gyllenhaal movie here in the Gray. Eiza Gonzalez is in it there as well. Okay. But real quick, before I get too deep in the Gray, and we're going to get in deep. Okay. We're going to get a little detail on this movie. Just want to remind you that since the show is live, we do have the live chat available here on both Rumble and YouTube. And so you don't have to just listen to me just ramble on and blah, 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 blah about In the Gray. You can get in the live chat and you can at least say hi or adios or, hola or bienvenidos or whatever, right? It's a multicultural, bilingual or multilingual live chat. Okay, there you go. As we talk about In the Gray. And getting in the live chat costs you absolutely nothing. Okay, barely even costs you any time. But yeah, getting in the live chat there and let me say hello. And actually, no, I should probably just bring up the live chat. Huh? That's probably a good idea. I'm asking everybody to get in the live chat, and I don't even have the live chat up here to where I can even see if anybody is getting in there and whatnot. So yes, but get in there and yeah, hey, if you want to talk about In the Gray, or any Guy Ritchie movie or any Henry Cavill or Jake Gyllenhaal movie you want. Ultimately, I can't stop you from chatting in the live chat whatever you want. That also means that you can distract me in any way that you want through the live chat. So if you're like me and you're all devious, you're like, yes, let's see what we can do to throw off this live stream host. All right. If you're an evil bastard like me, then you can definitely do that right there. But speaking of which, here, let me do this here real quick. I'm just going to do a little multitasking here and try to drum up some live chat business up in here real quick. So that is there. And yeah, we'll get over here because I don't want anybody who's in the live chat right now to be all lonely in there. Okay. I want people to start getting in the live chat, having fun, and having a good time and all of that stuff right there. And speaking of having fun here, part of having fun is, of course, booze. Okay, so here you go. And yeah, if you are in the, if you're watching the show right now, hey, feel free to, basically just drink up on whatever you're drinking up on. Obviously, I'm drinking up on a brewski right here, which I will be talking about here later on at brew review time. But for right now, I'm just going to take a drink off this real quick, and I invite you to do the same. All right. Thank you. Thank you for bearing with me here. I was getting a little parched already in this show, and we just started. I'm getting parched already. That is not good. That is not good. But again, yeah, welcome to my movie maniacs and my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. I missed you guys last Sunday. I had to take that Sunday off there because of a work trip, but I am back here in full force. All right. I am conducting Movies Merica Live business. All right. There you go. Okay, so let's get into some In the Gray here, because that's what you guys want to hear about, right? Or maybe not. I don't know, because barely anybody went and saw this movie this weekend, okay? It was me and a couple other dudes. That was about it, probably. I think this movie's going to make about $5 at the box office here, but even so, it was directed by Guy Ritchie, who's made a lot of classics, like I was talking about before. Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. He made Snatch. I made The Gentleman. He directed the Aladdin movie a few years back. His last hit was Wrath of Man. He does a lot of movies with Jason Statham. Jason Statham playing an action hero. All right, so he does a lot of movies with those guys right there. But in this movie, it's Henry Cavill, Superman, and hopefully future James Bond. I got Jake Gyllenhaal. Of course, that's Donnie Darko, and a half-ass, absolutely no substitute for Patrick Swayze in the role of Dalton in the Roadhouse remake. Of course, he's been in great movies like Nightcrawler and just an Ambulance, Michael Bay movie. And yeah, been a lot of movies. We're not going to mention Brokeback Mountain here. No Brokeback Mountain here. As I just mentioned that. So, but all right. Anyway, I defeated my whole point right there. But also have Eiza Gonzalez in this. We've got Javier Bardem's brother Carlos, who I've never even heard of. This Carlos Bardem guy. We've got Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones in this movie as a baddie. So, and if you've never seen Game of Thrones, you have no idea who I'm talking about when I say Tormund Giantsbane. But it's all good here. But real quick, instead of hearing me yap about In the Gray right here, let me give you a little visual aid here with the trailer.
Call Gary into my office. There is a situation here.
I assure you you'd like to listen. The alternative is very expensive.
Gary! Get them out of my office now.
Gary, a moment. There are two versions of how this narrative plays out.
Exhibit A.
Gary waits patiently and quietly by the door.
Exhibit B.
Gary steps forward and you spend the next 6 hours sponging him off the walls. I know which version Gary would prefer. Gary. Shh.
Manny Salazar. He's not really the guy you loan $1 billion and expect to see it back.
You think you can recover it?
You know I can. And this job, when mistakes are made, you need insurance. Kids, don't say a word. Follow me. Bronco and Sid will now solve it their way.
Love the shirt.
It's silk.
Of course it is.
I just told you. It's silk.
This is Salazar's island. The police are on payroll. And he has a reasonably experienced private army. Tick every box.
Tick every tuck.
Lube every wheel.
Lick every step.
3, 2, 1.
Range 300. Weight 275.
Make your mind up.
250. Ram it, Janet.
They work between the moral and the immoral. The black and the white. They operate in the gray.
Show me what you got.
I foresee a problem. I am aware that there is a 300-foot deep untraversable ravine, but if you give yourself enough runway, build up some speed, and flap your arms like so,
It should take the bump out of the landing.
All right. So yeah, as you see right there, we got Henry Cavill and Jake Gyllenhaal, making some funny in that movie there. They're playing partners in action here. They're protecting Eiza Gonzalez, and we'll hear more about that a little later on. But yeah, the plot. I mean, the trailer I think did a pretty good job at describing, in broad strokes, the plot. Where you got the drug dealer borrowed money, and of course in drug dealer fashion doesn't pay it back. I mean, if you can't trust your local drug dealer, who can you trust, right? I mean, like you would think that they were so reputable that they would pay the money back there, and with a handshake and thank you very much. But you know what? Those cartel drug dealers, those cartel bosses, man, I don't know. They're just not as trustworthy as one would believe, right there. Or one would expect. But yeah, borrows this money. The financial firm, that loan him the money, obviously wants their money back. But since this guy's a drug lord, they're like, well, we can't exactly knock on his door and say, hey, pretty please with sugar on top, can we have our money back? Because, whoever they send got to lose their, okay, all right. And so Eiza Gonzalez, she goes to the financial firm, whoever loaned the money, and says, hey, you know what, I'll get your money back, and so on and so forth. And that sets off our plot there. Okay, so that lights the fuse on the plot of In the Gray there. So, all right, we are moving on here. We're going to talk some more In the Gray. But let me take another drink off my beer here because I'm trying to motivate you guys and inspire you guys to, whatever you guys are drinking up on here, hey, go ahead and take a toss off it. So, and also to tease brew review time later on, where I will review that very beer you just saw right there. Okay. But back to In the Gray, and more specifically about Henry Cavill. From what I've seen, if you were to take a poll on who should be the next James Bond, the vast majority of people would say Henry Cavill should be handed the license to kill. What has helped is that he keeps doing movies where he plays, a character who is basically James Bond light, right? Diet James Bond, right? Such as, like, one example is he plays like the suave Napoleon Solo character in another Guy Ritchie movie, The Man from U.N.C.L.E., a few years back, or he played the suave secret agent in the abysmal Argyle that came out a couple years ago. And then this Guy Ritchie movie, In the Gray, where he plays, wait for it, a suave bodyguard named Sid. Now, my man has played, long enough in the James Bond minor leagues, man. So it's time to call him up to the show, all right? Come on, let's not waste any time, all right? Let's, Nuke Lelouch has played enough time, in the minor leagues. Let's call him up to the show here. Let's get Henry Cavill in that tux and drinking that martini, shaken, not stirred there, okay? And don't give me that crap about him like being too old now, okay? I mean, before, when he was auditioning to play James Bond for the Casino Royale movie that came back in 2006, he was too young then. They said he was 23. They said he's too young, or he was too young back in 2006 to take the James Bond role instead of Daniel Craig in Casino Royale. Now they're saying he's too old. Okay, so it's like, I mean, and he's only a year older than Pierce Brosnan was when he did Goldeneye. So save it. Stow that whole he's too old crap. Okay. Now let's get back to the movie of the moment. Okay. And Cavill has a partner in action in this, and that is Donnie Darko himself from back in the day, Jake Gyllenhaal as Bronco. Now, Sid and Bronco, we've got Henry Cavill as Sid, we got Jake Gyllenhaal as Bronco. And just listen to the names, Sid and Bronco. So, and Sid and Bronco sound like an 80s detective TV series on CBS, where they drive a cool car and they wrap up a new case, at the end of every episode, right? So, and they do have a stoic chemistry in this together. Cavill usually does bring that stoic, above it all vibe to a lot of his performances. And Gyllenhaal, much of the time, plays like quirkier characters. Just look like at Jake Gyllenhaal and the movie Okja. Okay, that's that. What was that? What's that Korean director's name? Bong Joon-ho or someone like that is. So there's a movie called Okja, directed by this Bon Joon-ho or whatever director, and Jake Gyllenhaal's really, really weird in that movie. And he's also quirky in Nightcrawler, a movie that I feel Jake Gyllenhaal should have won Best Actor for, but alas, he did not. But here in this movie, In the Gray, Gyllenhaal, he matches the stoicism that Cavill typically has, blow for blow, and it's slightly interesting to watch. Now, don't get me wrong, though. They do have some funny moments in this movie. Okay, they do bring the jokes. They do bring the laughs in this right here. And speaking of funny moments, in this video I'm about to play, we do learn about some new names for Jake Gyllenhaal and Henry Cavill.
Gyllenhaal. It's Gyllen.
It's Gyllenhaal.
It's a Gyllenhaal.
Right. Yeah, that's right.
Is that right?
That's right.
Okay. Because people, is it particularly in Britain, people have problems with your name?
Yeah, I mean, I have run into a couple people, usually under the influence, who have pronounced it, not in the right way. Particularly a drunk woman once came up to me and thought that my name was Jake Google Balls, which was... I knew I had made it then.
What was your nickname at school?
My nickname in school was Fat Cavill. Which was a very apt nickname, considering my name was indeed Cavill, and I was indeed fat.
But, how lardy were you?
I mean, my dad always said from the age of about 13, I stayed the same weight until I was 25. I just got taller.
Okay, so you were enormously fat at 13.
I don't know about enormously fat.
You were morbidly obese. You could have died.
Right.
So obviously that interview right there, you see who's on the couch. It's Henry Cavill, Amy Adams, and Russell Crowe there. So I'm gonna take a wild guess and say that was a interview on the Graham Norton show for Man of Steel right there. I know it's totally crazy and whatnot. It just happens to be those are the 3 stars of Man of Steel right there. So that interview was from a few years ago, and but yeah, hey, who knew? Jake Google Balls, which is what I'm going to start calling Jake Gyllenhaal from now. Hey, Jake Google Balls. Hey, man, great new movie right there. So, and I talk like I see Jake Gyllenhaal in real life there. But then we had Henry Cavill there, and he was called Fat Cavill in back in school, right there. And you know what? I guess that's probably the one and only commonality between Henry Cavill and me, because we have absolutely nothing else in common except for maybe. No, not even close in the looks department right there. So, but Henry Cavill, I am jealous. You beautiful bastard. All right, but yeah, I mean, I was fat, in junior high, and then I basically sprouted up in height, and then my fatness went away. So it sounds like Henry Cavill went through the exact same thing right there. But hey, speaking of Henry Cavill, we got my man, Mr. Scott Awesome, in the live chat on the Rumble side, mentioning Mr. Cavill here. Being in Highlander. I know, I can't wait, man. That Highlander movie with Henry Cavill looks choice, looks so sweet there. And it doesn't hurt that it's directed by the same guy who's directed pretty much all the John Wick movies. Chad Stahelski, a former stuntman right there. And then it's got Dave Bautista, I think, playing the Kurgan. And then Karen Gillan playing Henry Cavill's wife back in the Scotland days right there. Karen Gillan, you guys might not recognize the name, but she played what's her face? She played she was in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie there. What's that character's name right there? Chris Pratt's girlfriend in Guardians of the Galaxy. So, and somebody in the live chat can remind me, but Karen Gillan was in Guardians of the Galaxy, and she's been in the new Jumanji movies as well. But anyway, back to Highlander. Oh hell yeah, it's gonna be so sweet. And they picked a perfect guy to play McLeod there in that. So, and Mr. Scott also asked, do you think Jason Statham would be good in a Bond parody? I think he would. I mean, he's already kind of done that in the movie Spy that came out a few years ago. Spy came out. It was directed by the same guy who did like. Don't hold this against. Well, let me back up. It's directed by the same guy who did the fantastic comedy Bridesmaids, and then right after he did Bridesmaids, he did the movie Spy with Melissa. Why can I not remember names today? My God, Melissa McCarthy. There you go. Melissa McCarthy was in it, but Jason Statham played like a spoof on his action heroes that he plays in movies, but he kind of played it like in a James Bond kind of way right there. And so yeah, check out Spy if you haven't already, Mr. Scott Awesome. That movie is freaking hilarious with Jason Statham and Melissa McCarthy and Jude Law's in it there as well. But Spy is fantastic there. But anyway, back to In the Gray here, and now as you saw in the trailer, Eiza Gonzalez is in the movie there, and she brings her typical like "don't fuck with me" energy that she brought to previous roles in movies like Baby Driver, an underappreciated movie. See Baby Driver if you haven't seen it. Don't be scared away by the title. Don't be just ignore the title. Great action movie, Baby Driver, and also she was in the movie Ambulance, which is a Michael Bay movie that I think I just mentioned earlier, in which she co-starred with Gyllenhaal or Google Balls in that one too. And she's a big money debt collector / fixer for hire in the Gray. Her name is Rachel Wilde, and she needs Cavill's and Gyllenhaal's muscle because she collects debts from some real billionaire scum. All right, no. Bill Gates is not in this movie. Okay, though the island that much of the action takes place on in this movie might resemble a certain island that old Bill Gates used to visit there. So that might be the one similarity or the one connection right there. So yeah. Yeah, Mr. Scott Awesome, you're out there. Yeah, you definitely got to check out Spy there and have to check out the trailer. Yeah, the trailer gives you a taste of the funny there. Absolutely right there. So, but real quick here, I'll just want to let you guys know that actually there is this thing called the like button right on down there, and go and click on that like button there if you think I deserve it here in this episode. And then also there's the follow or subscribe button also down there. Check and click on that if you haven't already, okay, to subscribe to said Movies Merica. All right. And then also there's the notification bell button right on down there as well. I'm detecting a pattern here. It's all down there. Okay. No, not down there. No, this isn't that kind of show. I mean, down below the screen where you see my face right here, okay? The notification bell, okay? And click on that there if you just want to be able to get notified like once a week. That's it, just once a week when there's a brand new episode of Movies Merica coming out, okay? And then lastly, as I wrap up this very much the least popular segment in every show, I just want to talk to the folks that aren't watching live. If you're watching the recording of this, first off, thank you for watching. I appreciate that. And second of all, we can still communicate back and forth with each other. We're just going to have to do it via the comments section, which is down below, the old comments section. And yeah, you can get in the comments section. Let me know, hey, what you think of the show. Do you hate it? Do you hate its guts? Do you absolutely love it? Are you totally in love with it? I mean, if you're in love with it, why don't you marry it? Okay. Okay. Or is it somewhere in between? Okay. So yeah, comment section right down there for anybody who's watching the recording of the show. I'd love to hear from you there. And all right, so I'm going to wrap up this much hated segment of every Movies Merica episode. Okay, we've got some more in the gray to talk about real quick here. And to that end, the main problem that I have with In the Gray is it contains a lot of setup, and I mean a lot of setup, okay? Sid and Bronco almost completely describe everything that we see towards the end of the second act and all of the third act in the first act, okay? Now, the Oceans movies, Oceans 11, Oceans 12, the George Clooney, Brad Pitt movies, they sort of do the same thing, in those movies, but they do it in a more fun way, and they usually throw like a wrinkle in there somewhere when they're actually executing the plan in the Oceans movies, okay? I'll be honest with you, I honestly was dozing off a little when these guys were doing their breakdown of everything, because I knew it was just a breakdown and it wasn't really happening. Okay, they're doing more telling than showing there. Also, the plot gets a little convoluted, so definitely don't doze off like I did. By the time we were in the late second act, I felt like I'd missed some crucial events due to the aforementioned napping there. So yeah, invest in some, like 5 hour energy if you need to during this movie. Maybe do that thing where you take a cigarette lighter and you're like kind of you're burning your hand and say, well, no, I'm kidding. Don't do that. All right, I do not endorse burning your hand just to stay awake for this movie. Trust me, this movie is not worth it. Okay, and it also didn't help that the big baddie, a drug boss named Salazar that they mentioned in the trailer, played by Javier Bardem's brother Carlos, is pretty forgettable. Okay, poor old Carlos just doesn't have near the amount of magnetism that his brother has when playing a villain. Okay, so like when Javier Bardem was in No Country for Old Men, or he's played other bad guys. Like he was a drug boss in Collateral with Tom Cruise and Jamie Foxx right there. And old Carlos just doesn't have his brother Javier's magnetism and just appeal when he's playing a villain. So you're not very intrigued and enraptured by the threat of a bad guy who's just a cookie cutter cartel creep. Okay. Now, his main henchman, talking about the drug boss here, the drug boss's main henchman is played by Kristofer Hivju or something like that. I've never figured out like how to pronounce that guy's last name, for God's sakes. Basically, he's Tormund Giantsbane from Game of Thrones, playing yet another henchman as he has in other movies, and he's also not very interesting. They should have brought in Jon Snow for his henchman character to kind of bounce some hilariously filthy lines off of, to maybe make him more interesting. All right. In the action, of course, this is an action movie. We got to talk about the action. It's serviceable. Okay. I mean, the gunplay is mid-level. Nothing we haven't seen, before in a million other movies or TV shows. You do have to hand it to Sid and Bronco that they do have a good plan, though, and those two at least do a good job of executing it. Okay, one of their team doesn't execute it so well. One of their team members doesn't execute it so well, and in that, it just feels forced and awkwardly, just to try to drum up some emotion in this otherwise very, very clinical movie. Now, Ritchie has had better action in his own movies, like Wrath of Man with Jason Statham, that my man Mr. Scott Awesome was talking about. Surprisingly, though, the bald badass doesn't make an appearance in the gray right here. So I was completely surprised by that, because it seems like Jason Statham is pretty much in every single Guy Ritchie movie. Well, not every single Guy Ritchie movie, but you get my point. There you go. So, all right. Well, you know what? I'm getting really, really thirsty, and I bet my man, Mr. Scott Awesome, is really looking forward to this segment right here. And if I say I'm getting really thirsty and I'm about to switch to another segment, well, of course, we have to know that it is brew review time. All right, so let me introduce you to the brew for today's brew review time. And this is a little, good morning Vietnam beer here. It's coming to us from Hanoi, or if you want to, I was about to say Ho Chi Minh City, but that's Saigon there. So, but yeah, Hanoi here, the Hanoi beer. And this is actually brought to us by the third largest beverage company in Vietnam. Not the second, not the first, but the third. Okay. And of course, it's headquartered in Hanoi, hence the name of the beer. And in true, Vietnam fashion, it is a state-controlled company that operates the brewery that creates this particular brew right here. And you know what? This Hanoi beer, it's been around for just a wee little bit. Okay, it's been around for a minute. Specifically, it's been around since 1890. Yes, absolutely, 1890. And so this is their premium beer. So we got a Hanoi beer, but it's their premium beer, as you see right there. They also produce like a standard lager, and then they have this thing called like a Truk Bach beer. I don't know if I'm even saying that right. And then they have Hanoi. Let me say that again. Hanoi Bold and Hanoi Light. Okay, but this particular one is the premium beer, and this comes to us at 4.9 alcohol by volume, or 4.9% ABV. And yeah, this has got like a nice little light, crisp flavor profile to it here. Okay, this is not the heavy drinking, a thick drinking beer whatsoever. Okay, it's like a good lighter drinking beer that, hey, what do you say? Maybe you've been out there in the old rice paddies of Vietnam, and you've been working hard, you're working your butt off for like, a good 8 hours. You're like, you know what? It's time to cool off, man. Hey, does anybody have any Hanoi premium lager over here? Oh, you do? Sweet. So yeah, you're just gonna refresh yourself with some of this right here after a few hours in the old rice paddy there, or if you're sweating your cojones off walking through Hanoi, and you grab yourself this Hanoi premium beer. I'm a fan. I'll recommend it. It's not bad whatsoever. I mean, it's not going to blow your skirt up or anything like that, but it's also not bad enough to where I can't recommend it or anything like that. Okay. Now, as you know, I also like to let you know like what kind of foods that this beer would pair very well with. And of course, the foods that it would pair well with are a lot of Vietnamese, a lot of Vietnamese kind of foods, or Asian food, that kind of thing, right? Like grilled pork noodles, Vietnamese spring rolls, little beef or chicken pho. Okay, so if you ever pho, basically it's soup. Okay, spicy Thai or Sichuan dishes. This beer would wash those kind of dishes down very, very well with right there. And I do believe that. We've got the squid. All right, if you're a big squid fan, it would wash that down very well. Prawns, fried chicken. I mean, light tacos. I mean, this beer right here pairs with a lot of good food here. So, and I'm making myself hungry. I'm making myself famished by mentioning all this food. So I'm gonna stop mentioning food, okay, and gonna go and talk more about well, actually, I'm not even going to talk about this beer anymore. I'm just going to take a good old drink off this bad boy, okay? Because that's what we do here. That's part of what we do here on Brew Review Time. Excellent. All right, so I'm going to set that down right there. And yeah, so if you want to get your hands on some of this Hanoi premium lager, you can go to a place like Open Bar, the Open Bar app on your phone. I think it's available for iOS and Android now. Uber Eats, if you're in an area that has this beer available, and then also we've got like the website gopuff.com. Gopuff.com. It just specializes in like getting beers that are nowhere near to you actually delivered to your front door there. Now you're gonna pay handsomely for that. You're gonna pay some scratch, okay, for gopuff.com, and that's spelled GOPUFF, gopuff.com, to deliver that beer to you. I mean, but if you live in Lexington, Kentucky, and you want some beer, from Vietnam, hey, you know what? There you go. You could get on gopuff.com and get that delivered to you right there. And you know what? Again, it's going to cost you some money, but you will have Hanoi Premium Lager in your hands here. There you go. But yeah, I would recommend this beer. Check it out, and yeah, down yourself some Vietnamese spring rolls or fried chicken with it. But anyway, I think I've belabored this point long enough, and so it's time to wrap up this brew review time. All right, let me do something right here, and let me try to grab something. Nope, not trying to grab anything that's going to get me arrested or anything like that. Not at all. Okay, let's see here. Get over here. I'm just multitasking over here, so thank you for bearing with me over here, because that is something I try to do. And up in here, there we go. All right, absolutely. But we've got some more In the Gray to talk about. That is for sure. Okay, did you think we were done with some In the Gray? Not at all here, but we're real quick here, though. Before we talk about some In the Gray here, let me do this real quick. I'm going to tantalize you with some more, with some pretty sweet items here. That is for sure. And let me get this here. We need to attend to this business. That's for sure. And just to let you know right here, I want to show you this. This is the Movies Merica merch store here. Okay, I couldn't go. I couldn't finish up this episode. I couldn't wrap up this episode without letting you guys know about the sweet Movies Merica merch store over here and all the Movies Merica merch that we have available to you right here. Starting off with this camo trucker hat with the big mugs style Movies Merica logo on there. And real quick, I just let you know there is no purple on the hat there, so just wanted to be real and keep it real there with you. But as you see, we got other items here that actually do look exactly like what you see here on the screen when you do get them in your hands. So yeah, we've got starting off with t-shirts and other things here with the big mugs style Movies Merica logo here. So we got women's t-shirts, men's t-shirts. We got tank tops, long sleeve t-shirts, pullover hoodies, windbreakers. Hell, even have a sports bra in there. So, and then we've got different hats there as well with the big mugs, Movies Merica logo. And you'll see, like with all the items here, or with most items, you can change the colors on them here and go to town with that. You can change the color on that. Go with that. There you go. So yeah, we've got we're trying to give you the variety, the spice of life right there. And then now moving on to the Hollyweird style of Movies Merica logo here. We've got t-shirts and tank tops with that on there as well. And then we're moving down here with my personal favorite style of Movies Merica logo, and that is the Black Adam style of Movies Merica logo here with t-shirts and tank tops and the baseball long sleeve there. And then now you might be saying, hey, Van, I mean, dude, I went crazy. I went nuts on your Movies Merica merch website one time, and I bought up all the clothes items there, even the sports bra. Don't ask any questions. All right, but so I'm good. I've got all the Movies Merica clothes hanging up in my closet. But what I don't have, and it's a damn shame because I get thirsty a lot, and I really wish that I could drink, my favorite beverages out of some classy, sophisticated Movies Merica drinkware. Van, can you tell me? I mean, can you give me some good news? Do you have some Movies Merica drinkware? And you know what? To that, I say, get ready, friend, to be happy, all right? Because, yes, we do have Movies Merica drinkware. We've got the coffee mug here. We've got a can-shaped glass, pint glass. We've got koozies here to keep your beverage hot or cold, whatever the case may be, okay? So you're in good hands, friend. So go ahead and, get all that drinkware up on the old shopping cart right there and hook yourself up. Or, hey, hook somebody else up, okay? Give the gift of Movies Merica. And don't let that go ahead and give that to loved ones, friends, whatever. There you go. And then last but not least, you can class up your desk here with a Movies Merica desk mat there. So got a little bit of everything here on the Movies Merica merch website. So, and I'm making it very easy for you to get to this website that you're looking at right here because we have the link to this Movies Merica merch website down in the description there. Okay, so check it out right on down there in the description. And feel free to treat yourself to some Movies Merica merch, or maybe you're on the outs with mom and dad, right? Like maybe they let you borrow their car and you wrap it around a telephone pole and they're not too happy with you. Well, nothing says I love you, mommy and daddy. Sorry for wrapping that car around the telephone pole. Quite like giving mom and dad, a nice little Movies Merica coffee mug or something like that. There you go. So, I mean, we're repairing family relationships here, all right, here with Movies Merica merch right there. So check that out there, and let's get right back into it right there. But yes, that's the Movies Merica merch website, and I'm going to move on from that because we have got some more in the gray to talk about. All right, double checking here real quick. I just want to make sure I got everything in order. There we go. I think we're good to go here. And all right. And just to let you know, I do have some random thoughts about, this new Guy Ritchie movie, In the Gray. And my first random thought is This movie actually finished shooting in 2023 and just couldn't find a distributor for it. I mean, somebody to just distribute this movie into, into movie theaters right there to take on the responsibility, the financial responsibility for it. They just couldn't find anybody, to take this movie that it was all filmed, it's all wrapped up, and spread it out to the masses. All right. Not even the streaming services wanted this movie in the gray. And this movie beats the hell out of most of the assembly line action movie dreck you see go straight to Netflix or Amazon Prime. I mean, like, for an example, see War Machine with Alan Ritchson on Netflix, or, the Amazon Prime Roadhouse remake with Gyllenhaal, for just some prime examples of just turds, some action movie turds that you see on the various streaming services there. I mean, it's hard to believe that a movie with the star power of Cavill and Google Balls, Gyllen Balls, or Gyllen Balls. That's funny too. Or Gyllenhaal, and a director like Guy Ritchie wouldn't at least get snatched up by the streaming services. But you know what? Try to make sense of the movie industry, and you'll go cross-eyed quick. Okay. Now, another random thought I have is Guy Ritchie better be careful, because he could wind up in an orange jumpsuit in movie jail if he doesn't stop making failing movies, okay? I mean, he hasn't had a successful movie at the box office since 2021's Wrath of Man, and he's had 3 flops since then, okay? And In the Gray surely will be, unfortunately, it's going to be flop number 4, okay? Because In the Gray, it opened well below box office expectations. I mean, this thing is in the basement. All right, this thing is in the basement of the basement, down in the sewer drain. I mean, that's how low this came in at the box office this weekend. I mean, it came in even lower than a couple others of those, like a couple of those other flops that I talked about here, or just mentioned here a minute ago. It came in even lower than The Covenant, which had Jake Gyllenhaal in it as well. And in The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, which had Henry Cavill in it as well. I mean, it came in at number 9 at the box office in its opening weekend this past weekend, or the weekend we're still in. Even getting beat out by the re-release of Top Gun, a 40-year-old movie. I mean, an extremely beloved movie, but 40 years old nonetheless. Okay, so unfortunately for Guy Ritchie, yeah, he's about to have his 4th flop in a row here within the gray. And I would say that's at least in part due to the way that they marketed this movie. Okay, now I saw it marketed like, before, when I go to see the movies at the theater, I saw the trailer for this all the time. If you get on YouTube, you see the ad banners for In the Gray all the time. But I mean, maybe that's just personalized to me. I don't watch a lot of network TV. I don't like watch sports on TV or anything like that, so at least this time of year. So I don't know. I mean, it sounds like there wasn't a whole lot of In the Gray, like, trailers or ads on TV or anything like that, or if people watch cable, which I don't watch a whole lot. So it sounds like it just had terrible marketing. And so that's part of the reason, yes, you do get beat by 40-year-old Top Gun, okay, in your opening weekend there. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Top Gun, but beating a brand new movie, but I don't know. What are you gonna do there here? I mean, Guy Ritchie just falling on hard times up in here with this box office here. But anyway, those are just a couple of random thoughts that I had about In the Gray right there. Okay, but time to move on. All right, I just wanted to let you guys know that this Sunday show you're watching right now here, Movies Merica Live, is not the only show that I do each week. I also do a show on Thursday nights where I talk about the same movie that I'm talking about right now here on the Sunday show, but I talk about it and I don't worry about if I drop spoilers or not. Okay, now this is the spoiler-free review show, Movies Merica Live, but my show on Thursday called Movies Merica Spoiler Warning, that's the show where I talk about the same movie that I'm talking about today, but, where I'm not worried about spoilers. And you know what? I also even just, I do you the courtesy of, even in the title of the show, letting you know, hey, there potentially could be spoilers in here. I mean, that's why I called the show Movies Merica spoiler warning right there, okay? Because I'm looking out for you, okay? Yeah, but you can still watch that show on Thursday night, or not. I mean, if you don't want the movie spoiled, uh, kind of passively watch it is what I mean. So you can click the link for the show on Thursday, but just mute the show, okay? If you don't want to have the movie spoiled, and if you don't, totally understandable. I totally understand that right there. But it still helps this guy out. Still helps me out if you click on the link to watch the show on Thursday and then just mute it, and because it still counts as watch minutes for me, like the number of minutes people watch the show. Okay, is what I mean. And so yeah, so on Thursday morning, more specifically, the links for the Thursday show, Thursday night show, will come out. Probably the easiest way to find it is if you go to my Movies Merica X account, okay, or you go to my my Movies Merica Facebook group or Facebook page, and you can find the links on Thursday morning there. And then when the show comes on, which probably would help if I let you know what time the show comes on Thursday night, then yeah, click on the link to fire up the show. And so the show comes on at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 1 p.m. Pacific. Okay. So whichever of those times that you find yourself in, or if you're like in if you're in Berlin, Germany, I don't know what time the show comes on there, but you can Google and figure out the time it comes on. But when the time comes, yeah, just click on the Rumble or YouTube link, and yeah, just mute the show if you don't want to. If you haven't seen the movie and you don't want it spoiled, or hey, even better yet, if you have seen the movie and you want to you don't want to just passively watch the show, you actually want to actively watch the show and engage in the live chat. Hey, fantastic! Go ahead and do that very thing. But even if you don't want the show spoiled here, that's the main point I'm trying to make. Please click on the link to start the show up and mute it. That's what I do with like a lot of shows. If I don't have time to watch it, but I want to help my buddies out, like other buddies that have shows on Rumble or YouTube, and I want to help them out with the number of minutes people watch the show, help out the stats and their algorithm and all that. What I'll do is I'll click the link to start the show up, and then I'll just mute it because I'm too busy like doing something out in the other room, and I unfortunately don't have time to watch it. But I'm still helping out my friend, and it costs me no money whatsoever to do that very thing right there. Okay, so but again, real quick as I wrap this up here, mercifully, as some people are probably thinking, yeah, just the times for the show on Thursday night again are 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Mountain, and 4 p.m. Pacific on Thursday night. And we'll wrap it up here. Actually, I misspoke. Not time to wrap it up. Just time to move on. There we go. All right. But yeah, we got some more in the gray to talk about. That is for sure. But let me double check, make sure that the show didn't like go off the air here. Because I just got something that made me think like, did I lose the show here? No, I think we're still good. We're still good. And my man, Mr. Scott Awesome, in a live chat would let me know if suddenly the show went bye-bye or something like that, or the show froze up or something like that. But anyway, now it's time for the segment that is some people's favorite segment on the Sunday show. And that is a segment where I tell you if the movie for the week is a woke after school special. Okay. Now, to people that are as old as I am, when I say woke after school special, that means something to them because I know what an after school special is. Okay. But there might be, some young whippersnappers watching the show right now who don't drink prune juice like I do, who don't know what an after-school special is, okay? And so I'll just explain that real quick to you just to give you some context as far as like what the title of this segment, Woke After School Special, actually is signifying there. And so in the late 70s, early 80s, and somebody tell me if these were on in the 90s too, but there was these shows called after school specials, and they came on, it's the name, after school, okay? Kids would come home after school at whatever time, and they'd run in and, just be like those old TV commercials. Hey, Mom, we're home from school. Can we have some Sunny D? And you run in and you're like, I don't want to do my homework yet. I want to turn on Gilligan's Island, or I want to watch Dukes of Hazzard, or, I want to watch Rugrats or something like that. I can't wait to watch. And then you turn on the TV and it's instead of Rugrats, all of a sudden there's this there's this after school special show coming on. And what after school specials are all about? They're all about like teaching kids valuable lessons. Like don't smoke, don't drink, don't get in when some strange, creepy guy rolls up in their neighborhood in a van with no windows, just claiming to sell ice cream and looks like Joe Biden. Like, whatever you do, run as fast as you can the other way. Okay, like valuable lessons. Okay, like that. Okay, so these after school specials, they got their heart in the right place. It's just they're extremely cheesy and corny, even for back then. Okay, and so that's enough of letting you know like what our after school specials are. But back to this segment here. And so the whole point of this segment is I want to let people know so they don't waste their money and their time, whether the movie this week, in this case, In the Gray, is a woke after school special. Okay. And I have great news for you all. I have great news for the masses. All right. Sing it from the mountaintops right here. No. In the Gray is not a woke after school special. Thank God. Okay. That's one of its perks. Okay. It's got some cons about it. It's got some downside to this movie, but one of the upsides is that this movie is not a woke after school special. Now, In the Gray, it features a couple of women in like clerical positions of power, but they don't do that thing where they're portrayed as like these little 110-pound women beating the crap, out of like 15 200-pound men all attacking them at once, right? You see in a bunch of movies, like a lot of stupid ass movies, where they're like girl power. Okay, like this little bitty thing, like a little light, little thing that if there was a steady wind, probably blow her across the room right there. But you got these big muscle bound, no neck, guys coming in. They're all trained up as well. But she's somehow beating the living crap out of all these, these guys coming at her and attacking her at once right there. Just true stupid ass girl boss stuff right there. Okay. And there is no contrived, awkwardly forced, unintentionally hilarious girl boss garbage thrown into this movie whatsoever. So it's fantastic. Okay. I don't think Guy Ritchie, the director again, I don't think Guy Ritchie would actually believe that or even put up with girl boss crap like that. Okay. So, and again, I'm not being sexist. I'm just being real. Okay. Come on. A little 110-pound woman there, and she's taking on 15 guys, all weighing 200 pounds and whatnot. Come on. All right. That to me, if I was a woman, I would be insulted. Like, really, you're expecting me to believe that right there? Okay. So, and sure, Eiza Gonzalez's facial expression range, that she employs in this movie, to try to come off, as a super serious intellectual girl boss, makes Brie Larson and Captain Marvel look like Meryl Streep, but that's not woke. None of that. Nothing about that is woke. That's just joke acting, not woke acting. Okay, so all that to say is yes, there's no woke in this movie, and so that's fantastic. And Guy Ritchie seems like that kind of director that is not going to put up with woke garbage in his movie. And hey, look at this, Mr. Scott Awesome coming through as usual, saying after school specials ended in 97. Okay. So they were still on as late as that in 97. Okay, gotcha. So there you go. Well, thank you for the valuable information right there, Mr. Scott Awesome. Coming in the clutch right there. Absolutely right there. Okay. So, all right. But again, yeah. This movie, not a woke after school special right there. Okay. So, all right. Let's move on. Okay, so just want to let you guys know, hey, if you are appreciating the show enough, if you're watching on Rumble or YouTube, and you're appreciating it enough to maybe throw a buck or two my way there to kind of contribute to the Movies Merica mission and help me, pay for all the braces for my 17 kids. I've got summer kids. Some are here, some are there. Okay. All right. But they all need braces, and those braces aren't paying for themselves. So yeah, if you want to throw, a buck or two my way, well, I'm going to let you know how you can do that. Okay. And so if you're checking me out on Rumble, it's very easy. All you got to do is fire up the live chat window if you don't already have it up right there by clicking on the chat or live chat button right on down there. And get in there and just down where you would type in your live chat message, there's a button with a $ sign on it. and you can click on that. It'll just ask you how much you want to donate. And that's it. Very simple, very easy. Okay, there you go. And now, right next to that dollar sign, there is a button with a gift box on it. And so, if you ever click on that, that's just going to gift a subscription to Movies America to anybody else that's in the live chat there with you. And then, lastly, in Rumble only, there is a tip button right on down there, and that just lets you tip me however much you want. But it has you use whatever funds you have in your Rumble wallet. Okay, so whatever crypto funds you have in your Rumble wallet. Okay, and then moving on over to the old YouTube side, the tube of views. Yeah, if you want to throw a buck or two my way, again, just fire up the live chat window if you haven't already by clicking on the chat or live chat window or button down there, and then scroll down to the very bottom where you would type in your chat message, and then you'll find a button there with a dollar bill on it. And then when you click on that, it's just going to ask you like how much you want to donate. That's it. Okay. And then that's it. That's it. Very simple, very easy. Okay. But that's only if you rightfully deserve or feel that I deserve, any of your money right there. Because, hey, maybe you think the show sucks. Okay. But hey, if you do think I deserve it, that's how you throw a buck or two my way. Okay. So there you go. Enough of me begging for money. All right, there we go. We're getting ready to get really close here to wrapping up the show here. Hear about this new Guy Ritchie movie here in the Gray. Okay, and it's spelled Gray, Grey, but I think it's just because it's spelled incorrectly the British way because Guy Ritchie is a Brit here. So, yeah, that's a little background behind the title of the movie. I didn't say it was interesting background. I just said it was background. But my final thoughts about In the Gray is, as I mentioned before, I mean, not even the streaming services would distribute In the Gray. So just wait until this movie comes out on a streaming service to bother watching it. I mean, whether to spend your hard-earned money and precious time going to the theater to see this is not In the Gray. It's a very black and white, don't bother to go see this at the theater, okay? So there is no gray area. There's no hemming and hawing from me. Nothing like that, okay? No, it's a very black and white, don't waste your time and money going to see this at the theater. It is just not worth it whatsoever, okay? Just wait until it comes out, on Netflix or Peacock or whatever, streaming service you have or streaming services that you have. It's just not worth checking it out at the theater. And apparently, a lot of people felt that same way. They subscribed to that same sentiment because, like I said, this movie came in at number 9. Okay, and it's a brand new movie. Came in at number 9 for the box office right there. So I mean, that is sad. That is like some Price is Right loser horns kind of stuff going on right there. Like wah, 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 wah. Pour in the Gray. Okay. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? So, but real quick, as I get ready to wrap up the show here, I just want to ask you if you would follow Movies Merica, if you'd follow this guy right here on platforms like X. I'm on X under @Movies Merica, of course. I'm on Facebook. I have a Movies Merica page and group on Facebook. I also just have my Van Ebert profile on Facebook. So if you follow or subscribe or join or like or just say hi there, that'd be fantastic. I'm on Rumble there, of course. I've got 3 Movies Merica accounts on Rumble. So if you would just follow all 3 of those, that would be fantastic. Okay. I'm on Gab if you're a Gab guy or Gab girl. I'm also on Instagram. I'm on the gram. Okay. That's not really, I don't have put a whole lot on Instagram right there just because it's gay. But I'm on there. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, that's totally cool there as well. YouTube's a little harder to kind of share with you as far as like how to follow me there. I'm under the Till Death Podcast Network there. So if you look up, just type in, just search Movies Merica and any movie title. In this case, you can type in Movies Merica in the Gray, and I'm not going to be the top result that comes up because I don't have 7 million, subscribers or followers or anything like that. But so you'll have to scroll a little bit down, but you will find me there. Just scroll down a little bit. It should only take you, a few seconds, and you'll find me. And then, yeah, you just click on the Till Death Podcast Network there and click on that and hit the old subscribe or follow button right there. That would be fantastic. Okay, so all that to say, yes, please follow me on those platforms. And hey, if you let me know in the DMs or the direct message on Twitter on my not Twitter, X, underneath my @Movies Merica account, let me know that you follow me on these platforms. I'll follow you back. There you go. Okay, so all right here, but I just want to thank everybody for watching this episode here. It really means a lot to me here, and particularly Mr. Scott Awesome for getting up in the live chat there. And hey, don't be afraid, to send the link to this episode to your family and friends. Matter of fact, hey, you could, if you go to the Movies Merica account on Rumble or the Till Death Podcast Network, Movies Merica location on YouTube, just send them the link to, there's a page that has all the Movies Merica episodes on there, the Movies Merica live show and the Movies Merica spoiler warning show episodes right there. Send them a link to that page that has all that on there to your family, your friends, anybody that you suspect is into movies. Another instance where the spoiler-free reviews come in handy in particular are, you know a lot of you have Netflix and Amazon Prime and Peacock and and all the other streaming services, Hulu. And so, you get on there and your algorithm is recommending movies to you and all that stuff right there. And sometimes you just don't know if a movie is good. Okay. And so what I would recommend is as you're going through the algorithm and you see a movie that kind of catches your eye and you're like, God, I don't know, the thumbnail makes it look good, but that's what a thumbnail is supposed to do. It's supposed to make a movie look good, but this thing could be a cinematic turd for all I know. If only had a way to find out the common man perspective, the regular guy perspective, as far as whether this movie is good or not. If only. Well, you know what? Your prayers have been answered, because all you got to do is go to Rumble or YouTube, type in Movies Merica and the name of that movie, and there's a pretty good chance that I have reviewed that movie right there, a spoiler-free review, I should say. And and fire up that episode of Movies Merica. Now, I get it. My episodes are like, an hour or so long, okay? And who wants to sit through an hour-long episode just to find out if a movie is good or not, right? Totally don't blame you there. So what I would do is in the episode, just fast forward to minute 50, minute 55, okay? And that's typically where I have my final thoughts about the movie. And yes, save yourself, wasting 2.5 movies of your, or 2.5 hours of your time watching a totally terrible movie when you could have just went and looked for my episode about that movie and found out if it was good or not ahead of time. There you go. So that's just a handy situation where my Movies Merica Live episodes come in handy. All right. Okay, so I am getting ready to wrap up this episode. But again, thanks everybody for watching. And as always, get out there, people. Those movies aren't going to watch themselves. See ya. Howdy, my fellow freedom-fueled film fanatics. Would you do me a favor and check me out at solo.to/Movies Merica? That's where you would go for a one-stop shop for all the links that have to do with me, Movies Merica. And then also, if you want to check out the audio-only podcast versions of my Movies Merica Live episodes, that's my spoiler-free reviews that I do on Sunday, you can go to moviesmerica.com or Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, places like that. And then, actually, if you would also check me out on the social media sites like X and Instagram and Facebook and Gab. And I'm on those locations all under @Movies Merica. So it is very easy to find me out there, all right? So get to it, everybody. All right, thanks for watching. Later. Hey guys, don't leave the video quite yet. Okay, I've got the popo. They're coming after me, and I don't have much time to tell you, but you need to like and subscribe this video right here down below. It's right down there. It's just what. No, you cannot urinate in public. is waiting for you down there, okay? And make sure you watch these videos over here, too. You'll be doing me a big favor. I'll be in handcuffs pretty soon. All right. Thanks for watching.